All right, so I'm gonna ask you a really simple question right now. And if you know the answer, you can click away. But if you don't know the answer, you need to stick around. And you should probably subscribe while you're at it. If you're playing a G bar chord on the guitar, could you immediately play me the major pentatonic scale that exists right under your fingers? A lot of my students seem to overlook this concept when they're learning their scales on the guitar. So in this lesson, we're gonna look at how to play scales directly under your fingers when you're playing chords. It's pretty easy, so stick around. My name's Jesse Glick. This is a 5-Minute Monday. Let's get into it. All right, so if you're still wondering the answer to the question that I asked you in the intro, don't worry, we're gonna get there. But in this lesson today, we're really gonna talk about the pentatonic scale, the major scales, not just in like shapes of the scales, but rather why those shapes are there and how you can find them. The main thing that you need to know is the cage system, and I've got a video about the cage system. A lot of other people do, so if you're not familiar with that, I'd go check out the cage system and then come back. But essentially, it's just the idea that if you take the chords C, A, G, E, and D, you can move them up the guitar neck by creating a capo with your index finger. So for example, if I play a C chord, I'm gonna have to finger it like this. I can just move it up and make a capo with this finger and play it here. So now I have an E major chord. So with that in mind, we have the 5 chords in caged. So I'm going to show you the 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale. Now this works for major and minor that exists under each of the caged chords. For this lesson today, we're going to stick to the key of C. So if we have C in caged, this would be our C chord. Now there's a C major pentatonic scale directly under my fingers. All I need to do is look at where the chord is and then memorize the shape. So here's the shape. See how it's literally right under my fingers as I play it? Now if I want to move that chord shape up and create a capo, so now we have a D major chord, still using the C shape, we're going to still play the scale. Check it out, my fingers are barely going to move right now and the scale is right underneath the chord. So anytime you're playing a chord with the C shape, basically the shape of a C chord up the neck, just remember that you have a major pentatonic scale to improvise in right under it. So if I go to E major, I can improvise with the scale right under my fingers. Moving on, we're in the key of C, we've done our C shape, now let's move to our A shape. So we're going to take the A chord, move it up. Now we're going to look at the C major pentatonic scale that exists with this chord. So anytime you're playing a chord in this shape, this is a typical bar chord, you can just play the pentatonic scale right under it if you follow the pattern that my fingers are playing. So let's move it up here. Same pentatonic shape. Hey, so this is just a quick aside to remind you that I do teach private lessons over Zoom. So if you want more information about that, shoot me an email at jesseglickmusic@gmail.com. I would love to help you out. Also, subscribe. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so that's our C and our A shape. Moving on, we have our G shape. So I'm gonna take a G chord, slide it up to C, and then make a capo. Now this shape, the G shape, major pentatonic scale, is the one that most of you probably already know, and it looks something like this. So, when you're playing a G shape of a C chord, remember that you have this pentatonic scale that's right under your fingers the whole time. And by the way, just a little extra tip for this lesson, instead of playing the G shape all spread out like this, it's a lot easier if we just play the middle 4 strings. And I'm gonna replace my middle finger with my ring finger, so that would look like this. So that's an acceptable version of a G shape of a C chord. So again, here's the chord, scale is right underneath my fingers. All right, so that's C, A, and G. Moving on, we have the E shape. So this is our typical bar chord, and here lies the answer to the question I asked in the intro. We're gonna take an E chord like this, pretend the nut is now our index finger, and we're gonna slide it up to C. So there's our C bar chord. Well, just like every other chord we've gone over in this lesson so far, there is a pentatonic scale right underneath this chord that looks like this. So I barely have to move my fingers to play these scales. That's the point of this lesson, is once you get your chords down on the guitar, start thinking about where the scales are in relation to the chord that you're playing. All right, so that's the C shape, the A shape, the G shape, the E shape. One more shape to go, which is the D shape. So we're gonna take our D chord, and whenever you're playing the D shape, whatever's under your ring finger, that's gonna be the name of the chord. So this is a D note, this is a D major chord. So we're gonna slide this up till we get to C. There's our C and our D shape. Now this shape really comes out of a bigger stretch like this, and here's what the pentatonic scale looks like. So why am I showing you all this? I want you to start thinking about scales in the relation to the chords that you play. So if you play a D chord that looks like this, you have a pentatonic shape right under it that looks like this. What if you play a B chord like this? Well, you have a pentatonic shape right under that chord. All right, so here's how you can practice this on your own time. We're gonna take the key of C and go through every single caged shape of the pentatonic scale. So we're gonna start with C major. Here's our scale. Next is our A shape. Here's our scale. Next is our G shape. Here's our scale. Next is our E shape. Here's our scale. Finally, our D shape. Here's our scale. So that's it for this lesson. Whether it's the pentatonic scale, the major scale, the minor scales, whatever you're doing, just remember that there's always a scale underneath the chord you're playing. If you're playing a C major in the A shape, there's going to be a pentatonic scale right under your fingers. If you're playing a G major in the D shape, there's going to be a pentatonic scale right under your fingers. I'm doing these 5-minute Monday lessons every single Monday totally for free. So if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing. It's the easiest thing you can do to help me immediately. Also, leave a comment if this helped you out or if there's something else you want to learn. I'm always looking for inspiration on new lessons. But for now, my name's Jesse Glick. That was a 5-minute Monday. I'll see you in the next one.